Welcome. Out of Continues, episode 287. We're back. Episode 287 coming at you right now, live, because we are Out of Continues. And this is a weekly podcast posted up every Monday on outofcontinues.com as an MP3, or it goes up before that on youtube.com/outofcontinues as a video. And I am your host, Stafa. I'm back. I had surgery, so I was gone for a little bit, but I'm here. I'm able to sit up for a longer period than I was able to previously. And here we are. Hello.
Glad to have you back.
Yep. Back with a fixed back.
Exactly.
Well, with a recovering back. Broke back. Not a mountain.
No mountain.
No mountain, no broken back. Fixing back. Anyways, I'm joined today with my brother, Ali. How you doing?
Guys? Pretty good.
Anyways, we're gonna move on and talk about what we've been playing, and then we're gonna have some quick announcements, and then we're gonna go over some news topics. Before we do any of that, I want to do a quick disclaimer that all opinions expressed on the show are of our own and not of our employers, past, present, or future. Hashtag promote Stafa.
There you go.
So anyways, let's talk about what we've been playing. So I've been playing a few games. Like before the surgery, I was getting incredibly stressed out because not because of the actual surgery itself, but for adults that you all understand that anything that has to do with a hospital and doctors requires a lot of paperwork and insurance stuff and money and
sanity.
Yeah, and you lose sanity.
Yep,
So,
sanity.
Yep. So I was playing some games before the surgery because I was losing my sanity. I had like the worst headache in such a long time because my mind was hardly staying together. So I just want to talk about some of the games I've been playing like before the surgery and like after the surgery, while I'm recovering. And Ali, you'll get to talk about some of your games as well. You want to go first, or should I go first?
It looks like you got more, so you go ahead, go first.
All right. So the first game I have on my list, I played this before the surgery, and the first two games I played them before the surgery, but the first one's Refunct. It's an indie game that's on Steam. It's like $3 or something like that, and probably even cheaper. I don't know, but it's like a really cheap indie game. I got it for like $1 something during the summer sale, mainly because it looked cool. Like it looked visually pleasing, and I mean it's like nothing impressive looking. It's like so basically the game is a first-person platformer. And I mean it's super simple. Like there's no like tutorial or anything like that. Like you basically get thrown into the game. It's easy to understand what's going on because it kind of guides you slowly into it. And basically like there's like these platforms. All of them are like square or rectangle on the top, and so it has like these flat sides as well. So like you basically have all these pillars, and you're jumping on the pillars, and they're gray at first, but then after you jump on them, they turn green, like grass, and you're basically just jumping from pillar to pillar, in like this semi-open world level, and you're collecting these cubes and pressing these big buttons. And it's like just really super simple to know what you're doing and where you're going next, because like the buttons, they have like this big pillar of red light, so you
Yeah.
can see from a distance where you're going next.
Okay.
And that's basically the entire game. Like there's no real penalty. Like I mean, the only penalty is if you jump and miss your platform, you fall into the water or fall onto a lower platform, and then you have to like find your way back up again.
Hmm.
And you don't die if you fall in the water. In fact, some areas you have to like go underwater, so you go into a tube or whatever. But you know, that's just the entire game. You're just jumping from platform to platform. You can beat the entire game in like an hour if you're taking your time. And you know,
So
once you beat it, it becomes like a speed run type thing.
okay, so it's like a just regular playthroughs, just kind of chill. Just I'm kind of watching the video. Is there any repercussion to jumping on the same platform? It doesn't
Uh,
look like it.
After you beat the game, after you like complete it and get all of them lit up green,
Hmm.
um, and you hit all the buttons and everything, then once you start jump on the platforms, and turns to a different color, like blue or purple or something else. And if you're trying to like make everything into one color and try to speed run through it, if you jump on the same one again, it turns to a different color.
Okay.
So that's like the only repercussion. Like if you're like, doing your new game plus or whatever. But I mean, it's a type of game where fans of the game have like started speed running it, and they're like, "Oh, I beat this in like 15 minutes."
Oh, interesting.
So, and it's just, a very simple game, no penalties. Um, really calm, relaxing music. The the colors are nice and bright. Very colorful and just very peaceful. And like when I played that game, I I felt a lot better. Like I had a splitting headache, and like taking ibuprofen, it's not working. Like my head was killing me all week long,
Hmm.
and I played that game, and I still had a little bit of headache, but I was like, I feel a lot better after playing this game. This is very relaxing.
Just relaxing, yeah.
Yeah. And so after I beat the game and got my trading cards, I didn't try to speed run through it or anything. I just uninstalled it and I played another game which is similar in the sense where it's colorful and not a lot of penalty to it, called Grow Up.
Yeah.
The sequel to Grow Home, in which Grow Home, you're playing this robot, you're climbing this beanstalk that's called Star Plant, but you're climbing it and you make the branches, you extend the branches out to try to make the plant grow higher, and then like the goal is to like get all the way up to uh the spaceship that you fell from, which is called Mom.
Hmm.
So that was the first game. The second game, Grow Up. Instead of just one star plant that you're growing, there's like four of them, and also it's like an entire planet rather than just like one island that you're like growing the plant from.
Hmm.
So it's more of the same. Uh, and like the planet isn't huge. I mean, it's a small planet. You could go around it. Um, and you're finding all the spaceship parts because Mom crash landed and fell apart. So you have to like get all the spaceship parts, bring them together, and then at the end, you go back up to Mom and rebuild her. I mean, it's more of the same. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
really any huge differences between Grow Up and Grow Home. I mean, there's like one major difference is that um, you collect um, what's it? Fauna? Is that the word for plants?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, flora.
flora. Okay, yeah, you
Fauna
collect.
is animals.
Oh, okay, you collect flora, and like when you go to different areas of the map, like there's different flora that you collect for the database, and then once you have it into your database, you can plant it, and each one does some different type of like transportation thing for you. Like for example, there's like these flowers that if you stand in the center, it'll like launch you straight up like a catapult. I mean, like a cannon. Like it just
Hmm.
launched straight up. And there's another one where it's a leaf. It'll like, it's bent back, and you stand on it, and it'll launch you like a catapult. And another one is like this bubble that you grab, and then it'll like just float you up really high, but it's really slow at the same time. So you can plant these anywhere to try to help you get around. And that's like one of the major differences between this and Grow Home. But if you liked Grow Home, which was a really good game, uh, you'd probably like Grow Up as well. And you know, both Refunked and Grow Up helped me relax, just because I was like incredibly stressed out and just had this insane migraine. Um, and then another game I was playing, I uh, had the surgery. I was in the hospital for a couple of days,
Hmm.
and I just looking through Facebook on my phone, and then I see this ad for a game, which usually I don't really pay attention to the Facebook ads, but this one caught my eye. It looked interesting because it was like it had an interesting art style, and it had an interesting looking ad. So I clicked on it. Ended up being a game by Devolver Digital. This game is called Reigns. That's Reigns, like a king's reign. Not like precipitation rain.
Hmm.
Just to make it clear for
Yeah.
the listeners out there. So it's like a king's reign. So Reigns, um, it's an interesting game, and this is probably like one of my favorite mobile games I've been playing in a while. This is a really fun mobile game in which it's I don't know, I don't want to call it a roguelike because it's not. It's like it's more like a card game that's like Tinder, but well, as far as like swiping left and right,
Okay.
and
This card is real sexy.
procedurally generated. So basically, you are a king, okay?
Hmm.
And I know that's sexist. I'm sorry, but you're a king. You don't really have a choice. And
I think I've seen someone play this game, but go on.
so you're a king, and you're confronted by like different people,
Hmm.
and only one at a time. You're only talking to one person at a time, and like all the art is like really super simple vector art, and but you can still tell like what the person is. I mean, like all the shapes are like diamonds and squares and like that. So it's
Yeah.
like really simple looking, but it's like okay, I can tell this is supposed to be a pope because he has a big hat, or I can tell this is an executioner because he's kind of looks like he has like one of them executioner masks on, but it's like super simple looking graphics, but you can still tell like what the people are, and you're talking to them, and each one has something to say to you, and you swipe either left or right on their card. uh Swiping right is usually a positive response, swiping left is usually a negative response. Sometimes there isn't a positive or negative response, so you gotta like look at what the responses are. Like you don't swipe fully, you like swipe and you hold down
Hmm.
with your thumb to see what the response says as you like tilt the picture left or right.
Yeah.
um uh and yeah, and basically you're trying to like the entire game is like a balance of resources because you have like 4 meters up top. The first one being a cross is for the church, and then another one's like a stick figure for the citizens. The next one is a sword for your military, and the final one is a dollar sign for your treasury. And like every or the majority of your choices you make have some sort of positive or negative, or a positive and or negative uh, effect to one or multiple resources. For example, like I met a witch and she's like, "Oh, there are goblin." Like the witch is like, now she's like part of the my um my kingdom. She's like, "Oh, there are goblins over here. Who should take care of this?" And the goblins are messing with the people. Who should take care of this issue? And if I say you take care of it, then that's positive for the people because the witch is she takes care of the people. I mean, I know she's a witch, but she's like a good witch, kind of. She is positive for the people, but then it has a negative response to the church because that's a blasphemy that I'm going to a witch to, have her take care of an issue.
How dare you, though?
Yeah, exactly. But if I do the other way around, if I tell her the church takes care of it, then it would be positive for the church, but negative for the people because the church isn't really going to take care of it. Does that make sense?
It does.
I mean,
No, that makes sense. I remember seeing a friend. I've got a friend that plays that game, or I don't know if he still plays it, but he played it, and it's pretty interesting.
and like at any point, if any of the resources get depleted or completely full, you lose. And I didn't realize that if something gets completely full, I lost until I got my citizens, the meter for my citizens, all the way up. And it said something along the lines of, uh, I wasn't harmed, but my reign has ended, and people remember me as a good king.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I've also seen like a review online that they said like their money went all the way up, and they had like a big banquet, and the king ate himself to death.
Oh, okay.
So like like whatever, whether it gets full or depleted, like if anything gets depleted, like the church gets depleted, then a mob of pagans and kills you. If the military gets depleted, then
or something like that.
yeah, there'll be a coup. Exactly. So or no, if the military gets depleted, then a neighboring kingdom will kill you. If the citizens gets depleted, then it's a coup. So it's a balancing act as to like what you want to try to um uh get more of or less of. And whenever a decision will affect one of those 4 meters, it'll have like a little dot above it, like as you're like halfway swiping. It'll have a little dot above it if it's like a minor change, but then a big dot if it's a big change. But it won't tell you if it's going to be a positive or negative change.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just say these are the ones that are going to change. Except there was one time I ate a orange mushroom, and then that made me see like everything. So I like it put numbers next to all my meters, and I was able to see what everything was able to change. But I ended up dying anyways. I mean, you're going to end up dying regardless, and it's more of a game of trying to stay alive as long as possible. You're not trying to win, you're just trying to not die.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really fun game because you can play it for like a minute or a few minutes. It's not very long at all. If you're on the go, you can play one quick game and you're back to whatever you're doing. Or if you got some time, you play multiple games because most likely you're gonna die. So
Yeah, yeah. And
and
I've seen like the little, if I recall, like the little death cards are like little skulls or something. I
it's
forget what.
well, it's like it has like a king, like a diamond face with a crown, and usually like xed out eyes, and
Oh, that's right.
like
Yeah,
stabbed in the back, or like just out in the field, a dead corpse or something like that.
yeah. It's
Um,
it's interesting how like you could. I mean, because you could peek around the corners, like you're not the corners, like sort of swipe left and sort of swipe right to see
yeah,
what the options are. And if you get yourself in a pickle where there's no other option other than deaths, like either way, you go left or go right, you're dead either way. So
yeah.
it's kind of interesting.
Also, if you live too long, the text starts getting garbled. Like you
Oh, really? That's
Yeah, some
interesting.
of the like you'll see like a few words that make sense, but then the rest are like just like gibberish that makes
Hmm.
no sense because you're old.
Yeah.
So basically that's like the game's way of preventing you from living forever because you're
Okay.
gonna make dumb choices because you don't understand what's happening and then you're gonna end up getting killed.
You just start getting dementia.
Which I never gotten to that point yet, but like from reviews I've seen, that's what happens. And there's a bunch of like different, very interesting storylines. Um, whenever you start a new reign, there's
Hmm.
like three different kind of like goals for you to do, and whenever you achieve one of those goals, then like check it off, and then the new reign will have like another goal in that place. So if you can like get all three of those goals done,
Hmm.
then you'll have three completely new goals for your next reign. But if you only get like one of those done, then you'll have two of the same and then a new one.
Hmm.
And like each time you complete those goals, like they add a lot more storylines. New characters come in, and like it's just a bunch of really interesting things happen. I haven't had any repeat storylines yet. That's mainly because I don't know. I haven't been sitting down playing for hours. Uh, People who play like the PC version, because the game's on Steam as well.
Hmm.
People who play the PC version say that they get repeated storylines a lot, but I think that's probably because they're sitting down playing it for hours rather than playing in short bursts like you should with like the mobile version. Um, so you know it's like a $3 game. A game with no ads. You just buy it once, pay $3. You don't get any ads. It's a solid game. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm still gonna keep playing it. Uh, and from what I understand, the developers they're gonna continue adding new updates with new characters to interact with. Like there's on their website they have like a few pictures of this is what's next, and then this and this and this. So obviously they're gonna keep updating the game with more content. And if any of this sounds interesting to you, if you want like a game that you can play really quick with some interesting storylines, um, I say check this out. It's called Reigns, Reigns. Only $3. Had a lot of fun with it, and I mean, right now it's like my favorite mobile game on my phone. Um, and the last game I've been playing, I haven't played too much of this yet. I'm like 4 hours or so in, and that's mainly because, um, like for the longest while, I'm just laying down on my couch, and it's not easy for me to like lay all the way down and play a game. So, um, but I started playing this more recently. It's Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Um, this is it's published by Square Enix and developed by um, Platinum. people who
By,
did.
by the way, it's supposed to be Automata, but um,
Uh, that's what I said first, but then I saw these reviews where they're saying Automata. So
that's no Automata.
that's Automata.
Even like the giant beast cast guys, they make fun of. Oh, wait, no, is it the beast? I forget. They make fun of someone because they say, um, yeah, Alex, because he says automata. So it's automata is their correct
Okay, yeah,
pronunciation.
that's
Anyway,
how I said. Like the first time I seen that word, I said automata, and then I saw these reviews, and then they're saying automata, and they never say the. I don't think they say the name in the game itself. So
mhm.
whatever. But anyways, near automata, and it's published by developed by Platinum. They did Bayonetta, um, and Metal Gear Rising, Legend of Korra, Transformers. Um, what else? Other games. Um, Vanquish. So, anyways, this game it's like when I saw videos of the game, I thought it was going to be like a hack and slash game, like Metal Gear Rising, but it's actually like three genres smashed into each other. It's like hack and slash with bullet hell shooter and JRPG all mixed into one.
Mhm.
And so you play as like these androids. Um, Basically, it takes place in it's a sequel to Nier, which is a game that nobody played, which is a spin-off of the Drakengard games, which is another series that nobody played. So I don't know if this has like some missing context, that you require to play those other games or not. But from what I heard in the reviews, there's some link, but I don't know if it's like a requirement to play those games. And so it takes place like thousands of years in the future. Most of humanity went to the moon because aliens invaded Earth. And well, this is all in the very beginning, so I'm not like spoiling anything. Okay,
Mhm.
this is all told to you in the very beginning of the game, like first cutscene. So like they're all most of them are on Earth. There's some resistance fighter. Sorry, most of them are on the moon. Some resistance fighters are on Earth, and basically Earth is like inhabited by like these primitive robots that were made by the aliens. So far, I have not seen any of the aliens. I've only seen the robots, and they are like super primitive compared to your character, who's an android, who is basically like like a human, very lifelike, looks like a human, acts like a human, talks like a human, but she's an android.
Yeah.
Um, and so I mean, basically, I mean, the difference between your character and the robots is that the androids are sentient. They can think, and the robots are, you know, doofy robots.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, right now, I'm not very deep into it. I hear that the story gets pretty ridiculous with some crazy twists, which I'm getting kind of a hint of that so far, which I don't want to speculate yet. But I think I'm seeing the direction that's going, and but so far, like the game, it's like you're in an open map. It's not really like an open world, but it's like I say it's like comparable to like a JRPG where you have like a big map,
Mhm.
and you're just traveling around, and then when you get to like the village where there's a shopkeep and an inn and whatever, like it's all this peaceful music. Like that the type
Yeah.
of music that's like at like every single village in uh a JRPG.
Yep.
Like, think of that from any game. That's the type of music that's there. And then like once you leave the village, it's like adventurous music,
Yeah.
and so you're doing side quests. There's like they'll leave like a little marker on your map, which I think they could improve on that part because the map is so small on the screen,
Hmm.
and I'm there's really not much to the world itself. Like the world is very primitive as far as like world design goes. It feels like the designers just made like, hey, here's a big map, and there's
Hmm.
really nothing really to explore, um, for no reason. I mean, it's not very what's the word I'm looking for? It's not very clever as far as how they designed the world. I'm not really digging it. It's just like it's big for the sake of running around. Um, but and also it'd be nicer if the map, the worldview map on the corner of the screen was bigger, or if I had like a some kind of a marker on the actual play area telling me where to go, because that would
Uh,
make things easier than
okay.
staring at that little corner.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like, you get the quest, you go towards wherever the main quests or the side quests are located. You do some platforming, some fighting with the fighting system's pretty good. Um, I mean, it's not like a super deep one, like Metal Gear Rising, but it's it's not as good as that, but it's better than like something you'd find in a JRPG.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean that's basically. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say about the game right now because I haven't really played too much of it. There are some moments where it turns kind of like into a bullet hell shooter because so the R1 button does like this rapid fire with like this little drone that follows you like
Hmm.
above your shoulder. Um, and sometimes when you're like in a mission, the camera will go straight up above you,
Hmm.
and you're shooting, like a bullet hell shooter.
Hmm.
And like the bosses sometimes will shoot like a ton of crazy little orbs that you have to dodge, like a bullet hell game. So it's interesting how they threw like three different genres into
Into
one.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a very fun game, and I hope to play it at some point in time. My game playing time has been relatively short recently,
Hmm.
and I've been, just kind of limited to the couple of games that I've been going back to. So,
Like I think the game looks really good. Like I really like the animations, like especially when she runs. The She's like when she's in a full sprint, she looks like she's moving fast.
mhm,
Uh, and that sense of speed isn't in every single game. Like
yeah,
they definitely nailed the sense of speed, and the animations look pretty good. The combat looks really cool when you pull off crazy combos. Like just my current complaint about the game is, um, the world is very uninspired as far as like level design wise, especially when I see areas that look like I should be able to go there but can't because of invisible walls or whatever. And I feel like we've gone past that in the world of video games, in
yeah,
game design. It's like, oh, this curtain that was opening and closing during this boss fight is now closed after the boss fight, but I can't go back there because now the curtains are closed. Why can I not go back there because the curtains are closed?
because it's made out of titanium
Exactly.
curtains.
It's I don't know, like invisible walls and like things that you can't destroy and things you can't move through even though they look like you should be able to move through it, like that. I don't know, I don't really like that type of things in games any longer because we've gone past that. And also there was like an issue with one of the earlier quests I was doing. I had to um, obtain an item for like this dude that I was like trying to get for him. He gave me a side quest, and it showed on the map where to get it, but there's nothing going on there, and I'm like running around for like half hour or so trying to figure out where it is. And then I looked it up online, and like a person on like a forum basically said, "Hey, just go to the save point next to there, save." Oh, that's another thing. You can't save anywhere. You have to like do it like only in specific areas. So go to the save point, and then um, uh, reload the game. The enemies will respawn, and then just do that until they drop the item. So
Oh,
I had to do that like twice.
I hate that. I forget what game I've had to do that with as well.
I mean,
It's
that is
just like,
incredibly primitive as far as game design.
yeah,
Like the fact that I had to save, reboot, I mean not reboot, but like just load the game back up. I mean it's easy to load. You just go press start, go to load game, load it back up. And I had to like do that twice for them to drop the item, and then I was able to finish the quest. It was I don't know. I didn't like that at all. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all I have to say about the game. It's I'm gonna keep playing it, and it looks promising so far. There's just some primitive stuff about the game that it's like very old game design, or maybe is this stuff is still existent in JRPGs. I just haven't been playing JRPGs, so
yeah, that's the thing.
but it seems cool.
So, I remembered which game I had to do that similar thing with. It was Final Fantasy 15.
Uh,
I had to get like a griffin feather from a griffin, of course. But they only spawn during a certain hunt, and you get the hunt from like a person, but in one of the towns. But to get to the town, it's like a couple minutes there, and then it's a couple minutes back, and you have to kill the griffin and then hope that it drops,
and it doesn't.
and it doesn't. So, um, I first of all I did the dumb thing of doing like just repeating the mission and going back, but people were just like, "Look, just save right before you get to the." I mean, because you could save anywhere in Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
If you're in the overworld, so you just save and fight them. If you don't get it, reload. So it's not too bad, but still, it's just one of the cases of having to reload things because you didn't get a specific item.
Yeah, that's just way too primitive. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways, tell me about what you've been playing.
I haven't been playing much. Like I said, I haven't had much time to play games. I
Play
mean, huh?
Play Reigns.
Play yes, yeah. Um, so I always play Overwatch when I can. It's just my thing. Now that I have it on PC, uh, it's kind of it feels more like I could do my competitive like more competitive nature of things on PC because like on console when I use my controller, it just feels like I've got a sack of potato for hands when it comes to trying to like play Widowmaker or McCree or anyone that has like any sort of accuracy at all. It's
Trade.
very difficult. Like when I go on PC, I'm really good with them. Even though I'm barely like level. I think I just hit like level 30 or something on PC. So, but like I'm doing things I could never have imagined on console because of I'm on
Mustard
mouse and
Race.
keyboard. Huh?
Mustard Race.
Yes, Mustard Race. So, but yeah, I've been playing that, and then the new things or things that have been updated. I've been playing. For me, new. I've been playing PUBG, Player Unknown Battlegrounds. A lot of people were like, "Oh, you got a PC now? You got to play it. We got to play it together." So I bought it, and it's a fun game. Uh, I just don't like early access because I deal with way too many bugs that I'd really ever care for. There are times where you'll like queue up with friends and something like that, and then you know it'll load you onto the plane to drop you off onto the map. And
So
like,
so I haven't played this game. I've only heard
okay,
people talk about it.
okay,
And so like walk me through it. You start off the game, you're parachuting.
yeah. Well, you start off on a plane with up to 100 or up to 99 other people, so 100 including you, and it flies randomly from one direction of the map across directly across to the other side. So because it does this, it you can, you know, from any basically any point in time you could jump out and skydive and parachute into, you know, wherever spot you want. From there, um, you have a couple minutes to kind of scavenge around houses, you know, areas to find weapons, armor, you know, different items, that sort of thing, to basically equip yourself with weapons to fight other people.
So
And
you
then
start off with no gun,
you start off with nothing. Um,
basically naked.
I mean, you have clothes on your. Well, I mean, you could unequip the clothes from your model,
But
but
you're basically naked.
yeah, basically naked. So, um, you know, all of it's RNG. So depending on, uh, you know, like houses, specific houses or specific locations won't have a higher chance of dropping anything. It's just whatever you get in there is whatever you get. So sometimes you might just get a shotgun. Sometimes you might find a really good rifle, that sort of thing. So, um, but some weapons are only they're limited to what do they call them? Like drop crates or something, like crates that a plane will fly and drop in supply crate. So you can't find like these like high quality items in other locations, only in the supply crates. Anyway, so you have 2 minutes to get your stuff, and then after 2 minutes, it'll tell you where on the map is your next is the safe zone. So it'll have a really large circle area where you have to start trekking to. Sometimes it's near you, sometimes it's not. And you know you could find vehicles and uh, there's water and land vehicles, and you could.
So is the game free for all or you're on teams?
There are different modes. There's a single. There's a they call it solo, duo, and then there's squad. Squad is 3 or 4. Duo is specifically 2. Solo, you know. And then they just released a. So the regular modes they are third person or first person, sort of like Arma is. I think Arma. No, Arma is first person. Well, you do first or third person, and a lot of people like peek around corners using third person. It's kind of cheap, so they announced a first person locked mode. So
I saw a video recently. I think it was IGN. It was like they're showing that the game just got like a first person mode, and they're like, oh, the game's a lot harder like this.
it is. It's a lot harder because I mean you can't cheese around corners by looking. You know, if you're two people are you know in the same hallway waiting for someone else to come out, the person that's comes out first is basically dead because you know you could just see this guy running out into the hallway and you could know exactly what they're going to do. So first person mode, you know, you have to like hit Q or E to peek left or right and you know actually expose yourself to see what you're doing or where people are. Um, but anyway, so you know after like I said, after 2 minutes it shows a circle. You head towards that circle. Um, but then after an additional like I think a couple minutes it'll start to um, the player area starts to become limited to that circle. So there's a blue white or there's sorry not blue white, there's a white circle that's a safe area, and then there's a blue circle which is like a force field that if you are outside of, you start to take damage. So um, you know that's why you want to get to the white circle because that's like the safe area. And if the blue circle comes in and you know you're trying to run to this area, you just start taking damage while you're trying to get to it. So anyway, every couple minutes it'll find a new safe zone which is smaller than the last within the circle that you're currently in, to further constrict to, and it'll alternate between this is this is the new area. You got a couple minutes to get there. Now it's constricting. And it just keeps doing that until it's smaller, and it's, funneling people closer and closer to each other. Usually that's when things get pretty hairy, and people start dying considerably because you're starting to limit this giant map to a quarter, or even like a tenth of the size of the map. So it's pretty fun.
So when the map gets smaller, is it like towards the center, or is it like a different area of the map?
It's so when it gets smaller, it's like when the first safe zone is marked, it's random. It doesn't mean center. It's just randomly chosen.
Okay.
So, but then when it starts to constrict further, that is randomly chosen. That spot is randomly chosen within that circle.
Oh,
so it's not like the safe zone moves to another spot. It's like, it just starts to focus more. It's like when you have like a map and you start to zoom in on a map, like you scroll in.
okay, that makes sense. Because like at first, I always thought when people described that, I thought like it just went like smaller and smaller towards the center of the map.
No,
But,
it's randomly chosen.
Okay, that makes sense now.
So you could get some really interesting places to fight where there's a lot of cover, or there's like, one of the rounds my friend and I was playing in duo mode. We got to basically, it was like a field with like a couple trees and a rock. So there's like a bunch of us just kind of like completely prone in like cornfields and stuff like that, and we're just like, okay, let's try not to get killed right now. So it's really interesting because it's just random. So it's really fun. I just don't like the whole early access aspect of it because it's extremely buggy. It's very unoptimized. Even though I've got like an amazing PC, my specs, it runs suboptimally. The graphics are
That turns me off from getting the game because my PC is worse than yours.
well. I also have ultra wide monitor, so that might be running it kind of weird too. A lot of people, they could run it on low settings really easily because it's Unreal Engine 4, and Unreal Engine 4 is really good. But yeah, there are definitely some engine issues that need to be addressed, and I hope they address them before they release it pretty soon.
I'm not a big fan of getting early access games either, but like this one, I mean, it seems to have like there's like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not hype. It's like there's a lot of
fervor.
Yeah, I guess like it seems to be like the flavor of the month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are into it right now.
I think it's when people talk about, is this a game of the year competitor?
It's not even out.
Yeah, well, I mean, people are like, well, can we consider it or not? That line's kind of blurrier now than before. But the thing is, if you take it for face value right now in its current state, in some aspects, the game is broken. There are times where the buildings don't load for people at all. That's happened to me several times, and you can't see any of the buildings. But like when you try to walk into a building or like where a wall would be, you just start to glitch out. But the thing is, like, you could still like interact through walls and stuff like that. So sometimes there's like a room that has items in one corner that's close to the outside wall. Like you could grab stuff, and in fact, you could shoot other people through those walls because those are non-existent for you.
Wow.
And there's a video of this guy that he took a car and started driving through buildings to kill other people. It's just really buggy, and he ended up getting temporarily banned for it because he exploited a bug in the game. It's like, but the thing is, it's a really common bug. It happens to me probably 1 every 5 times, and that's a pretty significant number.
I've seen like a gif of somebody Leo's like watching somebody parachute down, and then like he got into a Jeep and like ran them over as they're coming down.
That's great. It's just frustrating because sometimes you'll queue up with three other friends and then you get into a full match and the buildings don't load for you. At that point, there's nothing for you to do. It's basically die because trying to get items is difficult. Because, like I said, you basically are glitching like crazy when you try to get near a wall. Because the server is like, there's supposed to be a wall there, but the client is there's like, no, there isn't. So you just start kind of stuttering back and forth and getting stuck in invisible objects and stuff like that. So it's frustrating where these matches that could take up to like let's say 30 minutes or something, maybe even longer, of your friends are down one man and you're just kind of waiting for them to play another, for them to die so you can play another one, or they have to basically leave the match and re-queue up just for you. And it's kind of frustrating, but
Mhm.
anyway, it's a fun game though.
All right, and what else have you been playing?
So No Man's Sky got updated.
Oh, we're only talking about games here.
I know. Not
Burn.
vaporware or not vaporware. Um, so No Man's Sky got updated. I haven't played much of it yet. Maybe like only 30 minutes of the new stuff. I started a new game because I'm on PC now. Because that's just what I have more time and to be in front of these days. Um, and they have a lot of new stuff. Like I started a new a new game, and like it started me near like this base, and there's all sorts of like here's like all these new things to work with, and I'm just like, oh my god. I'm pretty excited to get pretty deep into it because uh, very more often than not, I'm playing multiplayer games, but it's not easy to get friends together to play those multiplayer games. But I remember all the fun that I did have playing No Man's Sky on PS4, so I'm excited to start this up again with all the new updates that they have.
All right, is that it?
That's it.
All right. One thing that I haven't really been playing, but it's kind of like part of my life in a way. Because it's pretty intense. It's deep. It's I recommend to everybody. DreamHost.
Oh, really? Tell me more
Yes.
about DreamHost.
It's a web service, offers unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth, user-friendly interface, and they're also optimized to use content managers such as WordPress and many more features. All that just for $7.95 a month. And if you use the promo code ADA-CONTINUES during my recovery process, after post-surgery recovery process, if you use the promo code ADA-CONTINUES for this special occasion, it'll waive away the setup fee and gives you a free domain registration for the first year. That's how nice I am.
That's very considerate of you.
Yes. um, quick announcements. iTunes, we can use more iTunes reviews. If you are an iTunes user, if you have an iPhone and you have iTunes on your iPhone, please leave us a review. It's one of the single most helpful things you can do for the podcast. But if you cannot do so for whatever reason, you can also help out the podcast by sharing the podcast on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. Tell your mom, tell your family. If you don't like us, then tell someone you don't like.
Tell your kids, tell your wife, tell everybody.
Tell your husband. Anyways, let's move on and let's talk about some news. Screen sharing. There we go. Hello. Let's talk
Hello,
about some news.
let's do this.
Let's talk about Crackdown 3.
I'm not surprised about this at all.
Delayed to 2018.
So I want to say this because I felt the burn so hard after I read this comment. Some guy said, after looking at that last E3 trailer, you would have thought it was going to get delayed to 2009.
Oh, oh,
That's harsh.
oh, oh.
That's cold blooded.
Yeah, I mean, like the only thing that like had me interested was Terry Crews wearing a Crackdown suit, yelling at me. Like the actual game itself didn't look interesting at all. There was like no destruction, and they like didn't they
They hyped up Destruction so much. The last trailer had zero of that shown.
yeah.
Zero. Like not even like what you would expect like even a game console
Yeah.
could do. Not like
Look at the subheader. Well, first of all, why were we using a Polygon article? Get this out of my face.
that's
Anyways, the subheader. Microsoft says the destruction-filled sandbox game needs more time. Destruction-filled. Destruction. What? Where was the destruction?
there wasn't any. Like I feel like I've seen more destruction from Overwatch spawn rooms on PS4 than I have on the Crackdown 3 any of their footage at all. It's just like they showed nothing being destroyed in that last trailer. Nothing. They
Hmm.
showed explosions, but they didn't show like a single box get destroyed. They didn't show like a sign get destroyed. They didn't show any of that. It's like, where is that? Is there a physics engine at all?
Speaking of Overwatch spawn rooms, you ever notice that like most of the destructible stuff are only in the spawn rooms?
Yeah, I think I mean they have some stuff out throughout the
Yeah,
map,
but not
but
not as much as compared to inside the spawn room. And I think it's only there just to, like keep people busy while
yeah, it is.
they
It's in fact, if you notice that in the defensive spawn rooms, they have a lot less. If you look at, in fact, there's like hardly ever anything in the defensive spawn rooms.
Mhm.
Um, in the what do they call King of the Hill maps, they have more than the defensive ones, but less than the offensive ones because you have a lot less time to even work with for the all those physics props in the first place.
Mhm.
So I think it's interesting that they probably thought of that. Like these people want to shoot things and do something while they're waiting a minute in the spawn room for the
Yeah.
defense to set up. So anyway, short tangent.
Moving on.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Valve's huge news, big reveal. They had a trailer out for this new game, Artifact.
Oh,
Huge,
huge.
huge,
Huge.
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 No,
That trailer literally was nothing.
it was a teaser,
It was
and then
nothing.
the very end was like super disappointment. Wah wah, where it says Dota card game.
Yep.
So I've said this on the podcast before. I've said this like in conversation with people before, and I'm sticking to it, and that is that collectible card games, or digital collectible card games, are now the new trend that have replaced MOBAs, which MOBAs have replaced MMORPGs being, the trend where like everyone's trying to flock to get like, easy money.
Hmm.
For the longest while it was MMORPGs, and then it became MOBAs, and now it's collectible card games. And Valve is jumping on that bandwagon, and yeah, I feel like this is kind of a disappointing news coming from Valve that that their next game is a collectible card game, which we already have plenty of. There are tons of them already. And like from reading this article on everything you need to know, it sounds as if it's going to be modeled similar to all those other ones, where it's basically like Magic the Gathering but different.
Cute.
Yeah, where it uses minions and spells, and you know yeah. So I don't know. Like I'm not very excited about this. I know a lot of people want to see Half-Life 3. I want to see Portal 3. That's what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they seem to be I don't know, they seem to be like jumping on the bandwagon now. They jumped on the bandwagon with MOBAs, with Dota 2. They jumped on the bandwagon, with this Artifact, the Dota 2 card game. Um, I don't know. I might try it out, but
I don't care about Valve at all.
any
I don't
longer, or just like that's in general.
in general. I mean, just like I mean, well, and like I did before, but that's because that was
When they made games.
yeah, like 10 years ago or something like that. It's just they don't make games anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't want to make it, that's fine, but like even if they made Half-Life 3, I wouldn't care. They had their chance a long time ago.
Didn't the writer for Half-Life leave a long time ago?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. There's never
Well,
gonna.
I mean, what's the point of him staying if they're not going to make the game?
Yeah. So I don't know. This is like this is I feel like the majority of the people are super disappointed in this announcement, just as I am. And yeah, there's really not much else to say other than it's gonna be another card game that's like Magic the Gathering. So yeah, moving on.
Yep.
All right. So Lawbreakers is out. The latest game by Cliff Blazinski. Why did they put Cliffy B on here? Because
He loves being called that.
yeah, he loves being called Cliffy B.
Loves.
He loves it. So anyways, Cliff Blazinski, formerly co-founder of Epic Games, right? Something like that.
I think so.
Famous for making Unreal Tournament, Unreal Championship 2, Gears of War, and Jazz Jackrabbit. And so he left, formed his own smaller studio called Boss Key, released Lawbreakers, which I played during that final beta.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot better than it was initially.
That's good.
It moved very well. The characters moved very well. The shooting was pretty good. It felt a lot more solid than it was initially. And I think it's a $30 game because it's only multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And at its launch, it had less players than Battleborn did during its launch. And according to this article that was posted or updated on August 11th, so that was 9 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more than a week ago, it said that it ranked lower on Steam than a random CPU overclocking program.
That's a very specific comparison.
Yeah, like some overclocking program on Steam had more users than Lawbreakers. Though Cliff Blazinski is not giving up, he says that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I don't know, like it's the game itself seemed pretty solid when I played it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially compared to when I first played it during the alpha, which I thought was terrible. There's things that they changed around that made it a lot better, like having health packs on the map rather than putting these weird like health recharging stations.
Yeah.
Those are stupid, like straight up dumb. So, they changed that around and made some improvements, but it's hard for an indie studio, even with like a big name like Cliff Blazinski, it's hard for an indie studio to release a multiplayer only shooter and have it be successful. So it's pretty unfortunate. Hopefully Cliff Blazinski sees some success. It's at this point. I mean, if you have like a really rough launch, I'd expect seeing them do like a second launch, like doing some sort of like a here's Lawbreakers 2.0, something like that.
Yeah.
Where they like relaunch the game, maybe like even cutting the price down to like $20 or something, or 15, with a lot more content, or even having like a free weekend with that relaunch. Usually that would be like a year after the initial launch or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be rough for them to bounce back. I mean, I've seen plenty of other indie shooters get released and flop straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Super Mario Night Combat. I'm talking about like a lot more than just that. But yeah, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I do have a short comment. I feel like Cliff Blazinski is one of two developers that I really don't care about their output anymore. What I did before, but he's one of two. The other person is David Jaffe. I feel like both of these guys are like these super edgy guys that used to have super solid output, but just within the past decade, maybe less, they just haven't released anything that's just nothing resonates with me
Yeah,
from either of them.
I mean, like David Jaffe released his last couple of games were, um, Twisted Metal, the reboot,
It
which
was okay. It
it
wasn't.
didn't it didn't do as well as they wanted it to,
Yeah.
and also Drawn to Death,
Hmm.
which was like a free PlayStation Plus game, and it still didn't do well.
I don't. Is it even out?
Yeah.
They've had it in beta for a long time. I don't know if it's
Well,
out.
I have it on through PlayStation Plus, and I never even booted it up, so I deleted it. I'm very certain it is out.
I don't know.
Let's Drawn to Death. Yeah, it came out in April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's totally out. And let's look at the Metacritic. I don't think it got good reviews. Yeah, 56 on Metacritic. A 6.0 for the user score. Not very good. It looks kind of ugly.
Hmm.
Also, like from like a review I was watching, like basically like the whole world is supposed to be like the um some, it's like sketches and drawings of like some angsty teenage girl in her notebook, and the stuff that's in there it would be stuff that a a grown adult would think a teenager would think is cool. It's not like something an actual teenager of today would actually write down or draw.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, like graphically, I think it looks ugly, and gameplay doesn't look interesting at all. But whatever. Um, that was just, I guess that was just a tangent that we went on to. But let's go back. Moving on.
Hmm.
Let's talk about Blizzard launching Global Diversity and Inclusion Initiative. So basically, Blizzard, who they are located in Irvine, California. That's like a couple hours away from me.
Hmm.
Um, they want to they well, according to an internal memo, uh, they said that they have started a new global diversity and inclusion initiative to try to. The purpose of the campaign is to recruit and retain more women and minority groups that are currently underrepresented underrepresented in the gaming industry.
Hmm.
And like right now in Blizzard, like 21% of their workforce are female, and 14% of them are minority groups, which that's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
I mean, compared to my workplace, which I still haven't mentioned what it is, it's another AAA studio, but not as big as Blizzard. Um, I would say like the minority group number is way bigger at my place because like we have a lot of everybody.
Yeah.
Like I'd say like the only like ethnic group that we don't have at my workplace are Africans. Like I mean like straight up
Like
Africans.
actually from
Yeah,
the African
yeah.
continent,
Not I'm not talking about
African Americans.
yeah, African Americans. I'm talking about like straight up African people.
Yeah.
Like that's the only one I can think of that we don't have. I mean, we have, we have Asian people, we have Indian people, we have Russians, we have European people. Uh, like we got people from everywhere except I can't think of any that are from Africa. I think we have a few. Yeah, we have a few from South America as well, like from Chile, and but
Interesting.
yeah, we have some Australians as well, but like no Africans. But as far as females, so I mean I don't have like the exact number, but our minority groups larger than their 14, but females I'd say is way smaller than their 21%.
Hmm.
Like it, my studio is a sausage fest. Uh, in fact, I'd say it's probably smaller than 10%. There's like around 20 or so women that work uh, at my workplace, and we have close to 300 people.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. Um, but that's been changing recently at our workplace. We've been hiring more females lately, and it's nice to have a more diverse group of people to work with. Having people from different cultures, different mindsets, different backgrounds that helps
It's
create a flow and
it's funny when you see people make comments. I'm gonna call out the specific name. Colin, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Moriarty,
Yeah, Moriarty. Um,
formerly from IGN.
from IGN. He's like it should be based on merit. Like they should have their
Colin
names and
Moriarty is a moron with like
yeah,
the "Don't tread on me"
yeah.
flag on his
I
Twitter
know.
account.
I know, but like he's like it should be just 100% merit based. Take the names off, take the genders off, take whatever, and it's just like. But the thing is that doesn't. I mean, merits don't really mean much. Like my job, and this is for other jobs as well. You could have someone that has all the credentials and all the paperwork saying that they're the best, they have the highest education in the world, but that doesn't tell you that you know they are a good worker. And and my team, yeah, we have mostly men, but like well, it's a very small team in the first place. But the thing is, like, we come from all sorts of different backgrounds, and and my boss is well, my boss's boss is a female, and just like all of our different backgrounds help contribute to you know doing better service, and we have like different inputs and this and that. So um just having like sometimes diversity is good. Well, actually, I don't see when it's not good, but um like sometimes adding that diversity is more beneficial than adding someone that is has better credentials or something than someone else.
It's good to have different
It
perspectives
is, and they do
because
have different
they, they,
perspectives.
they can point out things that other people won't notice
Yeah, I
or
don't know.
won't like, come to that sort of realization.
Hmm.
You bring people with different mindsets together, they can come up with something better, or compared to like a bunch of people with the same background and highest credentials.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's just I think it's a very ignorant way of thought to say, hey, just do merit based, and it's like merits don't like. We just lost someone, an employee. He ended up leaving. He ended up putting his 2 weeks. But the thing is, like, he was gonna get the boot anyway because this guy, even though he had the most certifications and stuff out of all of us, he just was not a good worker.
Mm.
He didn't understand things conceptually. I mean, he did all the tests and he knew how to take the tests and all that stuff, but the guy was not good. He couldn't work with the rest of the team, didn't know the basic work. It's easy, and he seemed to be very impressive during an interview, but those things don't really matter in the actual real world when you're actually working. So
Yeah.
um anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I mean, like at my studio, like credentials are important. Like they want to hire the best, but at the same time, personality is just as important
Hmm.
as credentials, because they want to make sure that uh, you know the people that they hire are um, are people that they want to work with,
Hmm.
people that they can get along with. And I can say that like the majority of the people at work are some of the coolest people that I've come across. Like they
Hmm.
are all like the majority of them are super friendly. They like to have fun and they work hard. Um, and I wouldn't want to have any other way than to have, be surrounded by people with positive attitudes.
Yeah.
And that's even more important than having the best credentials.
Hmm.
And and as someone who's working within the administrative uh, part of the studio, I see a lot of the candidates who have been coming in for interviews, and uh, yeah, they do bring in people with very high credentials, people that worked on other AAA games, etc. But I've noticed that you know there's a very diverse selection of people coming in.
Hmm.
Like they've been bringing a lot of females in lately for interviews, and like a lot of people of different ethnic backgrounds coming in,
Yeah.
and that's that like I said multiple times already. You bring a different point of view when you have uh, people of different backgrounds, different cultures,
Yeah.
and diversity.
Hmm.
So yes,
Anyway, yep.
yeah, I like this. And Colin Moriarty of kind of funny games needs to like just shut up.
I think did he leave Kind of Funny or is he still with them?
I don't know.
I think he left Kind of Funny.
Well, he's kind of not funny.
Yeah. He was always the most angsty out of all of them too.
Actually, I take it back. He has the freedom to be as annoying as he wants.
I mean, he does, but he,
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk about Chun-Li's weird face in Marvel's Capcom Infinite. So, a lot of people have pointed out that a lot of the Capcom characters look very goofy looking.
they looked very bad.
Yeah, just I mean, like you can kind of see from the screenshot. Just to describe for the listeners, like she has like these weird alien eyes with bags under her eyes. Like just the shape of her mouth is very weird. Like her eyebrows, like doesn't even count as eyebrows?
I don't know. Her eye placement was weird too.
Yeah, like kind of low and far away.
Yep.
Yeah. So bam, she looks way better now. Like she looks. I mean, she still. I mean, she doesn't look realistic. She looks anime-ish, but
Yeah.
still, like, just looks way better now. And I think that's funny that so many people complained about how bad she looked. That Capcom's like, okay, let's redo it.
Yep.
Apparently, they redid like some of the other characters as well, like Dante from Devil May Cry. Uh, Someone on Reddit was claiming that they were an intern, and like they were told that the Capcom characters don't are were purposely not supposed to look as good because Disney wanted the Marvel characters to look better, but
That doesn't
apparently
make
that
sense.
was false because like just some made up story. And I mean, like the guy was claiming that he was not under NDA, but
Mm-hmm.
all interns that are like working on any game has to sign an NDA.
Yeah.
So come on.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, this is just funny.
Why you always lying?
Yep, I'm always lying. Want to move on?
Yep.
All right, let's talk about your favorite developer from Canada. Favorite RPG franchise, Mass Effect.
Favorite developer, eh?
Yeah. Mass Effect Andromeda won't have any more single player updates or DLC. They will see no future changes. And like, so Mass Effect Andromeda, there have been people who are expecting this game to be fixed by next year. Next year be like the definitive version of Mass Effect Andromeda where they actually fix the game, and also apparently there are some like plot holes that um fans were expecting to be answered with like some DLC, but no. So okay. Additionally, it will not release any DLC to address some of the loose narrative threads that fans were hoping to see resolved. So yeah, apparently they're not going to do any of that. They are moving on, and not working on this game any longer.
Rip. Rest in peace.
Yeah. BioWare, you've become such a disappointment. I don't really have anything else to say. Do you want to add anything?
No, well, when I first saw the news, I just scoffed and kind of kept scrolling. I saw it yesterday. I think. Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
Uh, let's talk about Riot, makers of our favorite MOBA, the Leagues of Legends. So they did a 48-hour hackathon, or a game jam. They called it a hackathon, but I mean it was a game jam.
Mm-hmm.
And they made Zig's Arcade Blast, a 2D platformer game with really
Yes.
good looking art, because of course they have really good looking art because they have amazing artists.
Mm-hmm.
It is now available online for free. Sigs
Oh, that's
Arcade
nice.
Blast 0.1. You can download it right now. Play it. I didn't play it yet, but the art looks amazing. Of course it does. Moving on.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about video game movies. The new Uncharted movie. Details revealed. So, let's see. We have the director, Sean Levy, who has done Stranger Things, which is pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
and Night at the Museum.
Uh-oh.
Is that the Ben Stiller?
Yes. Wait, is it? Hold on. Night at the museum.
Yes, it is
Yes.
the Ben Stiller movie.
Anything with Ben Stiller is terrible.
So, so this director is a hit or miss director. He's working with Tom Holland, who has recently played Spider-Man, and he's going to be young Nathan Drake. And they say that the film is basically going to be, the films are going to be an Indiana Jones type franchise for the audience who didn't grow up with Indiana Jones.
Great.
So yeah. Um, Release date. Do we have a release date?
No.
No,
I
not
don't think
yet.
so.
But yeah. Either way. Um,
Sean Levy also did Real Steel.
is that the Hugh
It was
Jackman movie with the Rock'em Sock'em robots?
was that Hugh Jackman in it? I don't know.
Yeah,
It was Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
with Hugh Jackman. Yes,
Yes, Hugh Jackman. Yep,
huge jacked man.
the jackest of man.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
So, I mean, of course it'd be Indiana Jones because like Uncharted is basically like Tomb Raider, which Tomb Raider is like a video game version of Indiana Jones.
mm-hmm.
So it's like going full circle. So I mean, like I'd say it would be hard for them to mess this up because all they gotta do is like just make one of those type of movies.
The thing is that like Uncharted has set such a high bar in terms of, I'll use the term cinematic gaming.
Yeah,
I think making it a movie, in my opinion, is a mistake. I mean, I would have to see it to be sure,
so you
but
guys.
I would not be surprised if it utterly flops.
Yeah, I don't know. I have zero hype for this,
Mm-hmm.
but I hope it will be good.
Anyway,
So yeah, let's move on.
yep.
So that's it for like video game news. I'll do like some non-video game comic stuff real quick. So, teaser trailer for The Punisher is out.
Oh yes.
He's basically like hammering some concrete like he's John Wick.
I haven't even seen the movie, but I know what that reference is.
You should see John Wick. That was a very good movie.
I should see it.
I enjoyed that movie a lot. I haven't seen the second one yet. But yeah, Punisher, I mean, like they don't really show much. They just show it's going to be Punisher, and he's coming to collect. So I guess he's a repo man. Maybe. No, guess not.
No.
I don't get the whole coming to collect. I
He's
don't.
collecting on the sins of those other people.
Why is he? Is he like death?
No, he works for the church.
Oh, okay.
In that case, choosing the church over the witch works.
Ah. But yeah, um, I really so okay. It's supposed to be later this year, I think. I think that's what it said. Or yeah, it just says on Netflix later this year. So I'm assuming like November-ish.
Hmm.
Um, I really like John Berthal in the first half of Punisher season. Sorry, Daredevil season 2.
Hmm.
In fact, that portion of that season was amazing.
Yeah,
And then once it was no longer Punisher, like it was kind of dumb.
I wanted more Punisher.
Yeah. Uh, I really hope that they focus on like him fighting like a more grounded villain, like some mob boss or something, because I'm not liking what they like the direction the that these shows have been going more towards. Have you watched any of the Defenders?
I have not.
Okay, I watched it all.
How was it?
It was better than Iron Fist, but not as good as the other ones.
Okay.
I mean, like my current ranking, I'd say like maybe I'd put like Daredevil season 1 and Jessica Jones tied with each other, and then Daredevil season 2 would be the next one, and then Luke Cage, and then Defenders, and then Iron Fist.
Hmm.
Like that would be the order.
Okay.
Um, I don't like the direction that they've been going with like making it more ridiculous, like
Yeah.
making it more
Fantastical.
yeah, fantastical. Like it's so Daredevil season 1, like the whole thing worked because he was going against Kingpin.
Yes.
Jessica Jones, the majority of it worked when she was going against Kilgrave, who he has like a special power,
Yeah.
but like the part where she was going against Nuke was stupid. Do you even,
Hmm.
do you even remember who Nuke was?
Um, I he
The
was
guy,
the
the guy with the pills.
oh yeah, that dude. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like when I mentioned that in conversation with people, they're like, "I
Who's
completely
Nuke?
forgot who Nuke was."
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was that stupid. Nuke was like the cop who like ended up
Yeah.
taking the pills that gave him like super soldier stuff
Hmm.
and crazy. Um, so Luke Cage when he was going against Cottonmouth, that was really good.
Hmm.
But then when he was going against Diamondback, that was really stupid.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I yeah, I agree.
Um, all of Iron Fist was dumb. I didn't even finish that. It was too stupid. I didn't like it. Um, and the Defenders, like this is not a spoiler at all because it's like in the trailers. It's in their um, you know, advertising that they're going against the Hand. The Hand
Mhm.
being
Yeah,
the
the
like
secret.
yeah, the secret ninja Illuminati type society that um Daredevil and Iron Fist were going against.
Hmm.
Like, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Like, just the whole premise is really stupid. It works in comics, it doesn't work on TV.
Hmm.
Um, like, they need to scale it back. Stop making them go against some really big, like, worldwide threat. Make them go against something more street level because they are street level heroes.
Hmm.
Um, like I ended up comparing in discussion with a coworker or a guy from work. I'm chatting with him online. He watched the whole thing as well. We ended up comparing the show to Arrow, and that is a bad thing.
That's a low bar.
Yeah, like just like the plot is very comparable to the plot of season 1 of Arrow, and that is really bad because like season 1 of Arrow, he ended up going against the he ended up going against Merlin at the end, who was the uh what's it called? I can't remember. The League of Assassins, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who is also basically the same thing as the Hand, and they do something similar to what the threat was in Arrow season 1. I don't want to go into spoilers or whatever, because some people might be upset, but like the threat of what they're going to do was similar to what was going to happen in like the threat to the season 1 of Arrow, which was pretty dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to scale it back. With Punisher, scale it back, make him go against another Kingpin type person, focus more on the characters, less on like a worldwide threat. Because if it's a worldwide threat, why isn't Agents of Shield? Why aren't they involved? Or why not have Iron Man get involved?
Yeah, the Avengers or something.
Like it doesn't make any sense, because they're trying to fit this all within the same universe. The whole point of the Defenders is that they're going against people that are too low for Thor to fight against.
So, speaking of MCU, I can't think of her name.
Which character?
She was the politician in Luke Cage.
The politician?
Yeah.
The politician.
The female politician.
Mariah.
What's her actual name though?
Oh, I don't know.
Let me see. Alfre Woodard.
Okay.
So she plays that politician in Luke Cage.
Yeah.
But then she also plays a character in Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
A different character.
Yeah.
That really bothered me, because I watched Civil War a couple of weeks ago for the first time, and I was like, that's not the right character.
Yeah.
Like, she popped up and I was like, who? I was like, what is happening? I thought I missed something. And I was like, and then I looked up IMDb and it's like, oh, it's a completely different character. It's like, why would they do that?
No, it was actually Mariah in disguise. She planted the seeds to have the Avengers go against each other.
There you go. That's next level.
Yep.
Next
level. I mean, like, overall, like, I thought the Defenders was, I think it was below average. I don't know. Like, I'd rate it like a 5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't terrible, but it was not good either. And maybe because they had like so many actors in it, and they had to, that limited their budget, because they literally had like all the main characters plus their side characters from each of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And which resulted to some of them getting like a few scenes with a few lines, making them kind of not less important. But still, it's like they have like all these actors that they have to pay, plus Sigourney Weaver, who is well-known actress, A-level actress.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably had to pay her so much, and she was completely underutilized.
Yeah.
Like, she was very she like, her character was unimpressive. Like, I didn't care for her character at all. I don't know, maybe she was trying to do her best with what she was given, and she was given very little. But her character had no emotion. Like, she was very one-dimensional. She never changed emotions the entire time. She didn't even do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to like spoil what happens to her, or what she does, but extremely underutilized. It was like the complete opposite as to like what they did with Michael Keaton. They took another actor, A-level actor who's been around for a while, and he just you know he nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him a lot to work with, and he was excellent in Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to see more Michael Keaton in the future of the MCU.
Yeah.
But with Sigourney Weaver, like, they dropped the ball so hard with her. They made a huge deal of, like, when they revealed that she was the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember, like, in the video clip I saw where they revealed it was her, they said that they handpicked her because they wanted an actress who can deliver a role for a villain that is big enough to battle these four superheroes,
Yeah.
and they did not bring that at all. She
That
was,
sucks.
yeah, like, extremely underutilized, very disappointing. Um, and yeah, I mean, like, just overall, like, I didn't like the Defenders. Um, like, they kept using the same trope of, will this ragtag group of misfits learn to work together to team up?
Yep.
And, like, they did that multiple times in the season. And we've already seen that already with Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Why are they repeating that same
Trope. Yeah.
trope? Yeah. It was just very very slow, very boring, very, like, I don't know. Like, there was some good parts, but, like, there's no, like, one big awesome, Daredevil hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
Um and also, like, the supporting cast, like Misty Knight from Luke Cage and Karen Page and Foggy Nelson
Yeah.
from Daredevil, like, they every time they were on the screen talking to any of the main characters, they were, like, basically there to slow down the plot. Like, they were basically there to be like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And, like, what is going on? And then their answer is, "You won't believe me." It's because it's like the plot is so ridiculous with this ninja Illuminati that not even the main characters want to explain it because of how ridiculous it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at any point did the writers think about that? Like, they're like, "Oh, this is so ridiculous that the characters don't even want to explain it. Will the audience accept this?"
You won't believe me.
I won't believe you. I don't know. I was disappointed in it. I mean, if you watch it, it's 8 hours of okay television.
Mm-hmm.
You can do better than it, but at the same time, you can do worse. So, if your time is limited and you don't you want to, like, manage what you watch with your free time, I'd say skip.
Mm-hmm.
It was disappointing. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. And I know we were talking about Punisher here, but I want to, like, get this off my chest about the Defenders because I was very hyped for the Defenders, and this is it did not deliver. I mean, it was nice seeing those characters again, especially my favorite four Defenders, Matthew Murdock, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I stole your joke that you sent me.
Yep. It's I think that was a pretty good burn as well.
Every time it was a Iron Fist centric scene, I ended up picking up my phone.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd even pause the show and then start playing Reigns instead.
Yeah, it's he's not an interesting character.
He isn't. He's like this whiny brat. And like we didn't get like, I don't know, like I was kind of expecting to see like Iron Fist and Luke Cage hit it off and become buds. There's like no bromance at all between the two, because like in the comics, those two characters are like this. Like they are best friends. Wasn't even close. They're like loose acquaintances. And I don't know. No, I'm not liking Iron Fist at all. Like I watched a few reviews just to see what other people are saying about the show. It seems that the reviewers are liking it more than me, or at least the couple that I watched on YouTube. I didn't really like it as much as them, but I don't know. This wasn't very good. Like Iron Fist is very annoying, not a good character, and he was like kind of he was the main character, kind of. Like it was him and Daredevil, and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones were like kind of there. I mean, it focused equally on every character, but they weren't as essential to the plot as Iron Fist and Daredevil, especially Iron Fist. He was like the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
Anyway, that's enough of that.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna watch it?
Probably not.
I won't recommend it. But anyways, listener feedback. I think I had listener feedback like before surgery, but that was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if I still have the email or not, but if you want to write in to podcast@continues.com. Send us your questions, your comments. Let me know what you think of the Defenders. And yeah, if you enjoy hearing us, you can support us by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review, subscribe to the Google Play Music. You can contact by email as podcast@outofcontinues.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/outofcontinues. All those things that I just said, they can be found on the website. That's www.outofcontinues.com. You can give me a tweet. You can holler at me. I am at Sayed Stafa. That's at SAYEDSTAFA. And Ali also has his own Twitter.
I am at Phosphor112. That is PHOSPHOR112.
And with that said, I'd like to thank my guest host for joining me today, Ali.
What's up?
And with that said, I am Stafa. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you guys next week on episode 288.
Peace out.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, click on the icon above my head to subscribe. Click on the icon over here for the last episode. And then click on the icon over here for the episode before that. See you guys next week.